One more time. So today we're talking about a quadplex that is on Dyer Street. I've talked about it before if you've been following me. What we're doing is today I'm going to go over all the numbers and how we executed this BRRRR deal, how we're pulling all our money out, and what we're doing in terms of renovation. So if you're here live, tell me who you are and where you're from. Let me know if you can hear me and see me because I know we had some hiccups before. All right, so let's get started. So what we did was this was a deal that was brought to us by a wholesaler, and we purchased this quadplex for 115,000. And a lot of people ask me this question whenever I tell you guys like, oh, we bought a duplex for 80K or a quadplex for 115. People want to know how are you doing this? Why are you buying these properties? Where can you even find these properties that are so cheap? And it's not it's not really magic, it's not rocket science. The reason we're buying them so inexpensive is because they're distressed. These properties need work. This is our bread and butter. The way the strategy works is you need a property where you can force the appreciation. So it's not rocket science. We're buying properties that are distressed. But what is really important here is you need to know how to do your numbers and your deal analysis really, really well. So the piece about buying distressed properties at a price that is below market value, that is not the rocket science piece. The rocket science piece is how to analyze your numbers upfront so you know what to expect at the end of the deal, right? So that is one thing. The second piece is you really need to know how to cultivate long term relationships with people who will bring you deals. And I was never interested in door knocking, and I was never interested in sending out mass mailers and starting my own wholesaling business because that's just not in line with my why, right? I'm doing this for time. So I'm not going to start yet another business just to get a little bit of um, break on the amount I'm paying for properties. I don't mind partnering up with, when I say partnering up, this is not a JV deal. I don't mind providing profit to somebody else who brings me the deal. That is totally fine. So we bought this for 115, and then what we're doing is we're putting in about, and I'm rounding off the numbers here, about 100K in renovation. And in this 100K, what we're doing is we're renovating 4 units, right? And I don't know if you've seen like one of the videos that I posted earlier, but in one of the in one of the units, which is on the first floor, in the backyard, somebody had put a pool, an illegal pool that had completely frozen over during winter. So well, now it's no longer frozen over, but we had to pay money to actually get it out. So all kinds of fun things you deal with as a real estate investor, right? So we're renovating the 4 units. We're also increasing the number of bedrooms in some of the units. So some there is a studio apartment, there's a 1 bedroom, and um, actually it's 1 studio and 3 1 bedroom apartments. But one of the 1 bedroom apartments is actually a two story apartment, which is really fun, right? So we have a lot of space, and we are going to take that apartment and we're turning it into a 2 unit apartment. Hello, Creative Outfit. This is somebody I just spoke with a few weeks ago. So we're doing that. We're also taking um, one of the units on the first floor and turning it into a 2 bedroom unit. It was a 1 bedroom unit before. All of this gives us an increase in rents that we're able to get, right? So we're doing all of this to increase the value, right? Forced appreciation. That is the name of the game in this business. That's what we're doing. So we're forcing this property to appreciate in value. One interesting thing we're doing that I just love that we made it happen is one of the units had a kitchen. This kitchen was kind of functional. There was not much wrong with it, except when we decided to turn it into a 2 bedroom unit, it just didn't work layout wise. So we're taking all of those cabinets and we're repurposing them in a different unit. So that's what we're doing, and I'm excited to see how all that works out. Um, sometimes you make all that happen. Um, Anne is saying, I'm distracting by your amazing shirt. I need it. I know, I love this shirt. There's like Jaguars or whatever on them. Thank you for the comment, that comment. Um, yeah, so we're doing that. And so after spending 100K in renovations, and as I said, I'm rounding it off here just to kind of keep the numbers nice and tight. Um, the other thing is we're spending about $25,000 in just soft costs. So if you're a real estate investor, if you're a new real estate investor, you really need a mentor to guide you through this, because your soft costs can make or break your entire deal if you don't know how to calculate them upfront. So our soft costs are around 25,000. So 115 acquisition, 100K renovation, and 25K in soft costs, all in. Add all of those up, 115 plus 100 plus 25, all in we are at 240,000 for this deal. By the way, none of this money is ours, and this is all through short-term financing, and there are various ways to do it. We are working with a lender that we have a lot of experience with to do this deal. None of our own money. So $240,000 for all in when it comes to this property. When we will be done with it, all said and done, we already had a before and after appraisal done, and the after appraisal is at 350. So 350 is the appraisal if we were keeping the number of bedrooms at what they were before. But because we're increasing the number of bedrooms, the amount that we expect to get in terms of the after appraisal is actually higher, right? So the after appraisal as is, keeping the number of bedrooms as is 350. And just for argument's sake, we'll just use 350 as a number, which is very conservative. And if you don't know me yet, you should know that I'm always super conservative with my numbers. And as an engineer, can't ever get that out of my way of thinking. So always doing my numbers very conservatively, which is how I recommend you do your numbers as well. Be extra conservative, especially in this market. You want to make sure you're being extra conservative. This is not the time to go for a deal that kind of could be okay. You want to make sure that when you move forward with a deal, that deal does look good. So 350 is the after appraisal. We know we've worked with a lot of long-term commercial lenders. 75% is what we expect to get at the end, and with that, that would be 262.5. That is 22.5 thousand more, 22,500 more than what we are all in at, which means that somebody's actually going to pay us 22.5K more than what we originally put into this deal. And that is the magic of this strategy. And it is not magic, all right? This is what you're getting paid for. Is you're getting paid to find a deal, know your numbers, know how to do the financing, understand how to operate a really good construction project, and understand how to manage your property as well. That's what you're getting paid to do. This is not magic, right? This forced equity is not magic. It's by the power of this strategy that you're getting it. You're taking advantage of the strategy and your learnings. So we are not only pulling out all of our original funds. So if I were to go out right now and buy a 350K quadplex, if I were to just go out and buy it, no burr, I would need at least, this is at least, I would need more than that. I would need at least 100K to go and buy a property like that for down payment. Instead, we're getting all of the money out. We're going to be able to pay our lender back, but we're actually making over 20 grand to just do this deal. And if you want to think about it in terms of, if it is, a lot of people tell me like, this doesn't make sense. Like, how does this work? Why are you getting paid to do it? Think of it as a flip. If you are flipping it, right? People flip properties. They wouldn't be flipping it if there were no profit. That's what this is. It's the same thing, except instead of selling it, we're going to keep it and we're going to refinance it, and we're going to take that money and move it to the next deal. That's what we do. And that's how we grew this portfolio so fast. And if you don't know me, we've built a $10 million portfolio in the last 5 years. Both my husband and I have retired from our corporate jobs because of this strategy, and because we figured out how to scale it like a business. And we've helped hundreds of people do the same thing. We have had multiple people just cross their $1 million portfolio just in the last month. So this is not something that is out of reach for anyone. Anybody can do it. Okay, so all said and done, then at the end of the day, in terms of cash flow, we're making about $1,000 a month in cash flow. That is after all the expenses. And when people say cash flow, don't just take your rent and eliminate your mortgage from it, right? That's not enough when you're operating a rental property, especially a multi unit. What you want to do is you want to take your rent and then eliminate, subtract your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance from it. But also, what we teach is you subtract a little piece of your rent, a percent of your rent for expenses. And if you were ever in corporate, capex, opex. So we capital expenditure and operating expenses. So we take a percent of the rent, and then we subtract capex, opex, vacancy, PITI, all of that. All said and done, we are at $1,000 a month in cash flow with this one deal. And sometimes I think about deals like these, and we do, we have concurrent deals like this going on. And when I think about deals like these, I'm making 122,500 from this deal. That's how much equity we're creating. That's like a good salary for someone, right? From one deal, just one deal. And how much do we work to make that much in an entire year? How many hours per week do we work to do that? And I'm not going to say this is where you're going to start, because that's not realistic to expect that that would be the beginning. This is 5 years into it. I'm saying I've spent barely minutes on this project. 5 years into it, you can get there, right? You start small, you learn from your mistakes, you get it dialed in, you get it really refined in smaller projects, and then you grow over time. So that's how I would grow it. Completely realistic expectations. Within 5 years, you can do this. You can do multiple deals like this at the same time. And if you think about the cash flow, this cash flow um, is going to be looked at differently when it comes to taxes. Taxes are always in favor of real estate investors, right? That's just how it's structured. So you get a lot of tax benefits from this. So when you make a salary, when you and I, we get our paychecks, you get X amount of taxes deducted from our paycheck. It doesn't work the same way when it comes to your profit from your real estate investing cash flow. And that's why so many rich people invest in real estate, right? And they do that because of the tax benefits. So that is a whole other advantage. So that's how this deal is. This is what I wanted to go over with you guys today. This is a possibility for all of you. We're gonna come back, and at some point I'll post some before and after pictures. I'll post some video walkthroughs through the construction site as well. But I wanted to kind of go over the numbers because it really helps to make things tangible when you kind of talk about a specific deal as opposed to an abstract strategy, right? All right. So I would love to know, what is your biggest takeaway and what questions do you have? What questions do you have? Have you considered real estate investing? Have you considered the BRRRR strategy? What questions do you have when it comes to a deal like this? While you're doing that, I want to tell you guys, I will be here live next week, but then the 2 weeks after that, I won't be going live on Tuesdays as usual. We are taking a break. We're taking the kids to Spain for 2 weeks. It's been 3 years since we've really traveled that much. So I'm excited. So we're taking the kids off to Spain, and I don't know. I might not survive it, right? To 2 weeks with kids going all over a different country, we'll see. But but no. All jokes aside, we're very excited. I'm excited for them. It's about time our kids got to see a different country, right? And we've had this lifestyle of investors where we have this freedom and flexibility. We've had this for a few years, but we haven't been able to take advantage of it because of COVID. So I'm excited to actually take advantage of this lifestyle that I'm so fortunate to have. Yeah, thank you, Anne. But any questions? Let me know. I'm here still. And next week we're going to talk about, what are we talking about next week? I think we're talking about financing. We're talking about financing for real estate investors. So come and join me. Um, there's a question here. Do you have a step-by-step process for someone's first deal? 100%. That is the right question to ask. And you really do need that step-by-step guidance. And that is why we designed the portfolio program. And to see if you're a good fit for the program, you can go to openspaceswomen.com/book a call and get on a call with somebody from my team. They can help you figure out if this is the right fit for you. The portfolio program is basically, we take all of the guesswork out. It is step-by-step process on how to learn the strategy, learn the ins and outs of financing, and execute your very first BRRRR deal. That's what it's all about. So it's a 90-day, so 3-month program. And at the end of the 90 days, uh, you would be putting in offers and getting your first property under contract for BRRRR. A lot of folks that stay with us and work with us long term, they have built their $1 million portfolio in about a year and a half, 1 year, 12 months to 15 months is what it takes people to build a $1 million portfolio. Um, One thing I will say is, we're not for everyone. We need you to have at least 25K to invest liquid. And that can be from your 401k or your HELOC, but we need you to have access to it. Because what I want is, when you're working with us in the program, I want you to be able to get a property under contract, not just absorb all this theory and then like go off on your own and try to figure it out and DIY. Um, this is very hands-on, and you work directly with myself. And I want you to be able to get success, and it's really important to us. So we ask that you have about 25K to invest in your own deal when you join us, and that's including what you would pay for the program and get your first deal under contract. And anybody who tells you that you can do this with get started with completely none of your money, it's a very high risk to take, to start investing when you have no savings. So we want to make sure that we're being responsible as coaches, and so we request that you come into the program with some money. So that's what we are all about. It's an amazing community. We have doctors, lawyers, engineers. In the program, we have finance professionals. We have some amazing folks who are generous and who are super ambitious and very smart. It's a very different community. You will be surprised that it is not like other real estate communities. We work with a very specific kind of person who comes into real estate investing, who has some money, and who wants to to put in that little bit of effort. I say about 3 to 5 hours per week is good. And then you can, that's good enough for you to take action and do what I need you to do to get your first deal under contract. Um, that makes total sense. I'm so excited to get started. That is awesome. Yes. So yeah, if all you have to do is go to openspaceswomen.com/book a call. And if you go to openspaceswomen.com/, book a call, if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of our previous students and their successes as well. Or you can go to openspaceswomen.com. I think it's /testimonials. Take a look at that as well if you want to see, experience of other people. But that's it. So no questions. I don't see any questions. All right, you guys. In that case, I'm going to take off. I will see you next week. And we will talk about financing. Wow, I just saw that a lot of new people joined over on Instagram. So I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes before I take off. And Facebook and YouTube, I'll see you guys next time. Drop any questions you have in the chat. In the meantime, drop #replay if you watched a replay so I know you were here. And I'll see you next time if you're on Facebook. And I'm here for a few more minutes if you're on Instagram.